You think I brought you here because of the nice backdrop, don't you?
Of course, Blues Point. This is where you bring all tourists, don't you?
Yeah, I brought you here because the water's deep, so if I push you in...
Oh, but you see what you've done? You're on the wrong side. So if
Oh.
anything, I can push in, but I won't. Because I'm not violent like you are. I'm peaceful, peace-loving. Even if I am very... Oh, okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to the good, the bad and the ridiculous after day one at Murty AVN nominates good, only one on-field injury today. Bad, one on-field injury today. Ridiculous, on-field injury on day one of an international test match. It's everything, isn't it? I could not believe that when Saini went down. Just even when we saw the team sheet, there is no way you could have predicted that team sheet at the start of this series, let alone at the start of this tour. You couldn't, could you?
I don't think you could have even 3 weeks ago. There's some evil force working against this Indian team. But, well, there you have it. And then they go in with the experience of 4 test matches between 5 bowlers. And what happens? One of them, one of the more experienced ones in that group, breaks down. Saini was playing a second test match. That's a lot of experience in this attack.
I actually think you're wrong. It's not evil forces against India. I'm convinced this is 5D chess. This is a master plan because you think about it. You've got the second, third string almost attack.
Fifth string.
Oh, there's a lot of strings, okay? Yes. So you're down to that attack. Everyone's being held together with sticky tape, basically. And then you have the captain who goes and loses the toss, and then you lose another bowler. Look at this stage. All the pressure and expectation is totally on Australia. I mean, India shouldn't even have a snowflake's chance in hell of competing in this match, let alone winning it. So I think it's a master plan. I bet you it's Ravi Shastri, the mastermind. It's 5D chess. I know what they're on about. At Mumbai Blaster nominates ridiculous the way Indian team management is killing Kuldeep Yadav's confidence. Oh, come on. There were actually a lot of nominations. There's a bit of a joke there, I think, but there were a lot of nominations suggesting that he should have played ahead of Washington Sundar. And you can understand where that's coming from the way he's bowled overseas in the past. But maybe it's that kind of role. Maybe it's partly the batting of Washington Sundar as well that got him in there. And maybe they felt that he might be a better control bowler for India, being able to even tie up an end as well as being able to take some wickets. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think eventually the balance of the team came down to our Ashwin's fitness. We were still not sure whether he would be fit enough to play 5 days of cricket last night. This morning he must have woken up and maybe the team management and Ashwin decided maybe it's not a good idea to go through with it, which meant that by playing Kuldeep Yadav, yes, purely if you just look at his bowling, yeah, he should have played ahead of Washington Sundar, but that would have meant a really long tail, or it would have meant India having to play an extra batsman and having a bowler short, which now in hindsight with Saini breaking down, I don't know how it would have worked out. But I saw a very good tweet from someone out there which said, look at Kuldeep Yadav, poor guy, he's gone through 5 months of quarantine and bubbles and all that, and not to play a single game. And think about it, right? He was part of the original test squad. These other guys have been added really on the go. Washington Sundar, I don't think was part of the squad till this morning. And he gets a go. But it's unfortunate, but it's just because of team combination. No Jadeja, no Ashwin. They just had to go with someone who's kind of similar to Ashwin and Jadeja, and Washington Sundar. Fortunately, they kept him back. Was the only option they had.
At Cricket with Ash nominates good to Tamil Nadu Premier League players making their debut and Natarajan catching up on some luck. I included that just for you.
I know, poor Natarajan. We've been talking about him throughout this tour, right? Oh, he's bowling so well in the net. Oh, what if he gets a test debut? Mel, we won't reveal who said this to us from the team management. But remember, go back. Adelaide, after the practice session, someone did say, what if we hand him a test debut at some point? I don't think the person who said it was serious. I don't think we took him seriously. But there you have it.
Yeah, I feel so good about hitching our caravan to the T Natarajan train right back at the start. I remember when he was bowling in the nets in Sydney with the pink ball, and I just walked down and he just got Virat Kohli out. And I was like, hang on, who's that? And you said, that's Natarajan. And it's like, woo. And ever since then, he was the one in the nets. That's why we kept saying it. He was the one you just couldn't take your eyes off. It was like, whoa, he's got a bit, hasn't he? We just did it.
One regret though. For 18 months have been running the hashtag Nisa must play campaign. The Natarajan might play campaign is just 1.5 months old, and there is Natarajan making his debut where at the Gabba while Michael Nisa carries drinks on his home ground.
But he carries them so well.
That he does.
Sunny, or at Akshayansh, nominates ridiculous. Rahane dropping a catch, the last Indian you would expect to drop a catch. Shake my head. The man is fallible. He has fallible hands after all. Never thought we'd see the day. And what a time and what a catch.
Oh, that would have... And that was the ball when Saini injured his groin as well. It was just two things that shouldn't happen. You didn't want to happening at the same time of the same ball. It just sums up 2021 and this tour for me.
But also the thing was, it was like Saini didn't go down until after he realised that he dropped the catch. He was like, bowled the ball and was like, and then it was, It was those two moments. So I think there was a moment where he didn't feel the pain because
the pain
of
was
that.
here, and then he felt it there. It would have been 4 for 93 for 4, and that would have meant Australia were really under the pump.
At Dom Matteo nominates ridiculous. Shaw trying to injure Rohit by throwing it at him, but does he know there isn't a fifth test? I thought that was genius, isn't it? Really, you want to get rid of someone? Shove them out of the way.
There you go. You've been doing it since the beginning of the show. It's the best way to do it. You can just always give an excuse. No, I was trying to throw it on the stumps. Because it was funny. The stumps were there. Rohit was there. And he just threw it straight at him. He almost hurt him on the finger. Rohit was not happy. But I saw the tea break on TV. Prithvi Shaw went and jumped on Rohit. Was trying to pacify him. Because Rohit's not someone you want to mess with. But like we found out today, you don't want to be in the wrong side of Prithvi Shaw either.
At Arpit Honey nominates good. The luck of Labuschagne continuing to get so many dropped chances from India in this series. Marnus made the most of his chance, really, although he probably shouldn't have got out when he did get out, and he probably would regret playing that shot when he did. But he's just made runs consistently, and he's turned out to be that player that almost the one you really can't afford to drop. I know people say that about Steve Smith, but Marnus has just so consistently got, I think, someone had tweeted that he's got to 50 or more, I think more times than anyone since he made his debut. I think it was 15 times. We knew going into this series that Smith and Marnus were the two real heart, soul, spine, everything of that batting lineup, and it's certainly the case. How's your hair doing?
It's okay at the moment, but Marnus is having that kind of summer. The first innings he played, first class innings of the summer was in Adelaide against Tasmania, Tim Paine's Tasmania. He was dropped thrice before I think he got to 40, made 100. So the one thing with Marnus LABUSCHAGNE, do not drop him, and definitely don't drop him twice, and definitely don't drop him thrice. And there was
to be fair, I would recommend not dropping him 4 or 5 times either.
That's very good advice. And there was that second chance which fell in between Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara. I don't think that counts. But yeah, like you said, you have to make the most of it. And he's averaging over 60 in this series quietly without looking like he's been at his best. He's put the runs on the board, and very, very valuable runs considering what the others have done for Australia.
At Honest OPN nominates ridiculous Smith's dismissal. Proper heist.
If that was the plan, leg side half volley, getting a catch at mid-wicket, then it was a proper heist. But yeah, I think it was just one of those shots that Steve Smith's been working overtime and just thinking and analysing how he's going to go over about batting against R. Ashwin. And then suddenly you have Washington Sundar who doesn't turn the ball much. And it was the first ball of his spell. So he had got a sighter of Washington Sundar before lunch, where he bowled 3 overs to him. And I don't know, it was just one of those random moments. And you could see how shocked Steve Smith was. And you could see how even more shocked Washington Sundar was. What a great first wicket to have. Nobody can take that away from him. You could see he stuck his tongue out and he was like, ugh, I don't know.
Basically, yes, it was a great heist. The leg side heist of Washington Sundar. Sounds like a book or something. You should write it. At Prasad Rajput nominates bad. Number of runs Shardul gave away. Now, there was a bit of a theme when you looked at those three sessions. In that first session, it was like, oh, their tails are up here. They're coming in. They're bowling really well. They've got a couple of wickets. You know, there were some really good things happen. And then in that second session, you just started to see the release balls. And they just kept being like one every over. And then by the third session, don't worry, they're friends. Hello. And then by the third session, ow, your hair just hit me.
Sorry, yeah.
It's violent hair. By the third session, Australia were just really scoring at will. They were turning over the strike. They were finding the boundaries when they were. Obviously, then there were the late wickets. But were those three really sort of distinct feels to the way the bowling attack was having success? And I guess Thakur was the one who was possibly leaking the most and just perhaps a little bit not as consistent with his lines?
That's just Shardul Thakur. Like, you know, people have watched him bowl over the years. He can... His strength is to bowl the outswing, take the new ball. He has great shape, but he does take a lot of wickets, but he does bowl a lot of loose balls. Not a lot of loose balls, but there will be the odd loose ball. And we saw him bowl, 2 or 3 full tosses today, a few long hops to Marnus LABUSCHAGNE. So, well, he took a wicket off his first ball. And I thought he bowled well just before they took the second new ball. If he had just taken Cam Green's catch, this could well have been India's day. So, he gave only 4 runs in those 4 overs. So, good and bad day for Shardul Thakur.
And at Zizou's bald head nominates...
Wow.
Hey.
Oh, Zizou's bald head.
Oh, Zizou's. Oh, sorry.
Zidane.
Oh, Zizou's bald head. Sorry, I'm reading these for the first time. Now I can't believe you're schooling me on how to pronounce Twitter names. Here we go. Nominates Wade throwing away yet another start as bad.
Almost like Zizou's headbutt in the 2006 final, I would say, because he's had these... I'm bored of using the word brain fade. We'll have to come up with something else. We can just call it doing a Zizou in cricket. But it was just one of those shots. It wasn't as bad as the other two he played at Melbourne and Sydney, but it looked like he just didn't pick the length. The timing was bad. Again, Australia were right on top. They were 200 for 3, and the run rate was really picking up. They were scoring almost at 5 and over, and it just came at the wrong time. Maybe it was just him being slightly complacent, because Natarajan did look a little tired in that spell. And well, good for Natarajan though, first test wicket, and you could see how he wanted to make sure someone took the catch. And Prithvi Shaw, good old Prithvi Shaw, almost came in the way of Shardul Thakur, who grabbed the ball. And yeah, it is bad. It does have a bad look, the Matthew Wade dismissal, but not as bad a look as the other two.
I suppose though it's the cumulative badness of it happening again. It's as much the time of it as anything else. When something happens once, you go, okay, that's happened. When it happens twice, you go, oh, maybe there's a thing there. And then when it happens 3 or 4 times, you go, okay, is there something we have to deal with? And it's not a technical thing.
Yeah.
It's people keep talking about game awareness or where lack of concentration. Something happens, but yeah, it's got to be a worry that it's happened a number of times, and you can't use the excuse that it was because he was opening and not used to being in that position.
No, and it will be the opposite of a highlight reel when they show his dismissals. When it happens back to back, it just has like I said, it will just look bad on Matthew Wade whenever they replay the dismissals. Yeah.
A low light.
A low light?
That's like what you've got in your hair. Low lights.
What?
Low lights. It's the opposite of highlights.
Oh, good. Well done. Balayage. Maybe it'll be, yeah.
Matthew Wade's balayage reel. What was your goodest thing for today?
Natarajan and Washington Sundar making their debuts, just because who would have thunk it, as they say.
Besides us, obviously.
Oh, besides us, of course. I mean, but we can't take credit for Washington Sundar. I don't think Washington Sundar woke up this morning maybe he knew yesterday, but still he would have pinched himself this morning to know, am I making my test debut not having played a first class match in 4 years? The birds fly off
And the wind blows.
as the sun sets.
Ah, could it be any more difficult to film? What is your baddest thing for today?
I think it's Saini's injury, because it could have qualified for ridiculous as well, but I think it's just, yeah, I mean, maybe, see, there has to be, it can't be coincidence anymore. Maybe there is something which is going on which we don't know of. Maybe it's my job to dig in to find out why so many fast bowlers are coming down with soft tissue injuries. Maybe it is a physical conditioning thing. But yeah, it's not a good sign, and yeah, it could really hurt India in this game. He was the quickest bowler, and India have lost him.
And Bharat, what is your ridiculousest thing for today? And there can be only one answer. So if you don't give the right answer, I am going to push you in the water.
Rohit Sharma bowling medium pace at the Gabba.
Lucky. No, that's the right one. That's the right one.
I mean, nothing can beat that, because we haven't seen Rohit Sharma bowl in a long time. So when he took his floppy hat off, I thought off spin, and I don't know what delivery that was, but imagine if that ball had got a wicket. It looked like a slow-paced Ricky Ponting was bowling, but it was, for me, it really summed up this tour, this summer, this crazy bubble life.
You see, the whole thing, 5D chess, just to get Rohit Sharma bowling.
Maybe.
Telling you, 5D chess. See you tomorrow.